So this video is going to show you how to use Excel in the level of basic to be able to insert a graph, be able to write some formulas to calculate, and be able to make some controls. Okay, so something look like an example that I have provided. Okay, like this one is showing a climate data, right? So you can do something like this when you try to look at, right, the temperature, right, comparing between two cities like Fort Myers, Florida, to Honolulu, Hawaii, right? You may compare the difference on the temperatures throughout a year, right? In January, you may see Fort Myers kind of colder than Honolulu, right? And you can look at precipitation. Wow. So in Florida, it's kind of very high, right? Comparing to Hawaii, right? Percent sunshine. Now, this data is very important. Like, for example, if I want to install the what do you call that, for the sun, to get the sun power, solar cell, right? Solar cell. Then, how will I know that is it worth it to install in the area that I live? Look at the percent sunshine, right? So let's see, we live in the Washington DC area, right? There's no such data on that. I try to compare to Houston. So if you live in New York, then there's a data for that, right? So you see that percent sunshine is less than Houston, right? Texas. That's Syracuse, New York. So we can look at a wind. So something like this. We're gonna have to make our own Excel to do something like this. Okay, so that's what our goal is. So by looking at this, you may see that there are two sheets. Excel has, we call spreadsheets. We have separate sheets. One sheet we call the data sheet, where you actually have all the data. Like this is 284 cities for precipitation. If you keep scrolling down, they have another section for the sunshine. You may see that these are all the cities with 174 cities. Some of them are missing. You don't have data for that. And keep scrolling down. There's a section for temperatures and wind, right? So we're going to separate that into two sheets. One is the data sheet and one is the report. This is going to be the report sheet, right? Where you actually present into the graph format and has a control panel for the user to pick, right, and choose to make your data more meaningful here, right? And just pick only the row of the data that you're interested from the section. So that is what we want to do. So in assignment 2, you're going to find, or create one. You can create one, you can use a template, depending on you. Like, this is a template that you can use, that's an example. Okay. And you're going to have to create a report in a form of table and graph, just like what I shown you. Okay. Now, you want to have a report on Alright, so to give you a good foundation of using Excel, right before you get to that level to create something like that, you're going to learn the basic operation of Excel here. So Excel, we have cheats. You can add cheats right here, right? By add plus. You can have as many cheats as you want. And we have, this is called cell, right? That you can identify by column name A, B, C, and row 1, 2, 3, right? So if I'm saying I3, I refer to this cell, right? And then you have other tools here that you can use. So for example, if I want to write a number 1, 2, 3, how would you do that? If I want to create number 1 to 100, are you going to keep typing in? Nope. In Excel, you can highlight that, go to the bottom right corner, drag it down. It's going to increase the number for you to 100. It's going to be faster than manually typing it down. Right. You want to delete, highlight, right click, delete by row. Right. Now, same thing. If I want to do by row, right? It will give you 1 to 100. So let's keep. You see that number pop-up box telling you what number you add. That is 1 to 100. And then you hit home. Let's go to A1. I can basically create a simple multiplication of the numbers from rows and columns by typing A2 times B1, right? So that's 2 times 2 is 4, right? 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 4. And if I drag this to right, it doesn't look right. It's copy the formula, right? By, if you look at A2 times B1, right? This one is going to be 2 times C1 from the 1B4. So 12 times 4, 48, 48 times 5, 240. Right? Now, if I want to create the multiplication table of our number 2, like 3 times 2, 6, then you always have to times C2 times A2, right? So if you drag this to right, we already have, C1 times, right, A2. We already have C1. The problem is it's increasing to B2. So if I change this to A2, it will work, but it will not work if I have to keep changing it every time, like that, right? So that's why we have the dollar signs coming in to help. Dollar sign means if I put dollar sign in front, it's going to freeze the cells. So I don't have to manually change A2 anymore. It always takes that and freezed by multiply to A2. So when I put dollar sign in front the column name, it's going to freeze the column, which is always state A, which actually, if I put dollar sign in front of the number, it's going to freeze the row 2, which actually is enough. I have just used $1 signs, right, in front of the column name. And you see this on your test too. Okay, it's going to ask you about this formula. Like, what is the dollar sign for? Now I can technically create the easily multiplication of number 2 here, right? Now the problem is if I drag down, it's not freezing the number. That's why it's not going to work again, because I want to do 3 times 2, not 3 times 4, right? That is a reason why if you look at A, we want B1, right, times A3. But this one keeps changing to 2. So meaning that I put a dollar sign in front of the number to freeze the column. So when I drag down, it will work. 3 times 2 is 6, 4 times 2 is 8, right? So let me just highlighting this. Let me know this is a column that we use for multiplication, and the result is in the middle. Four times 2 is 8, right? Now, if I want to create the rest, okay, just keep dragging down. I have up to 100 times 2. If I move to the right, that should give me all the result of the multiplication table. I just need to make sure it's get up to the column name that I want, which is about 100. This is 96, 97, 90. That is 100 times 100, right? Which is 10,000. So this is just basic formula that starting out with how do you manipulate Excel.